Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the Green Bay Packers versus Carolina Panthers Week 15 matchup based on analytics. Each week, I collect all of the current 2017 NFL team data in order to analyze and project potential NFL performance. And since it's a weekly collection, there's always going to be some variation between various variables. However, there's always going to be little nuggets of truth that could become bigger nuggets of truth as the season continues. So stick around as I analyze each week's matchups based on analytics. And if you are new to the channel, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So, starting with this matchup between the Panthers and the Packers. When you look at the NFL stat basic comparison data, and basic comparison data essentially deals with how the offense is doing, defense, and special teams of these various football teams based on macro statistics. So basically giving you a general overview of how these teams are doing from a macro standpoint in these various statistics. And based on all this information, the Panthers are heavily favored in this game, which really shouldn't be surprising, but nevertheless, they are. Now, let's get into some reasons as to why. First off, the Panthers have the better offense. They have a better sack percentage, meaning they don't allow as many sacks compared to the Packers. And the most important thing of all is offensive score percentage. The Panthers are just able to put points on the board more often on a per drive basis compared to the Packers up to this point. And those are two major factors to consider in terms of winning. Now, the one area where the Packers actually have one advantage is in terms of turnover ratio. The Packers don't really turn the football over as much as the Panthers do. But because the Panthers put points on the board more often, don't allow as many sacks, it does give them that advantage to say that they have the better offense because of those two particular areas. And not only that, the Panthers also have the better defense in many ways. The Panthers have the better defensive offensive score percentage, meaning that the Panthers can prevent points on defense a lot better than the Packers. The Panthers also have the better sack percentage, so they can sack the quarterback more often. The Packers are better when it comes to turnovers and interceptions. So in many ways, the Panthers have the better defense just because they can prevent points and create sacks, but they don't necessarily have the ability to create turnovers and interceptions and those other sort of game-changing plays. So in many ways, the Panthers defense is kind of a conservative-ish defense. Not necessarily in the way that they play, but just on how they look on paper. You know, they sack the quarterback, they prevent points, but they don't necessarily do a lot of sexy things like get interceptions and fumble recovery and stuff like that. But they do have the better defense because they're able to prevent more points on a per drive basis. And then, of course, you get to the special teams data where the Packers are favored in terms of punt return yardage and kick return yardage. The Packers are also favored in terms of defensive punt return yardage. Defensive kick return yardage more so favors the Panthers. Field goal percentage favors the Panthers. Extra point percentage favors the Packers. And punting average favors the Panthers. In terms of who has the better special teams, the Panthers do. Field goal percentage is by far one of the biggest indicators for winning football games when it comes to all the special teams data that you're looking at. And they obviously have a much better field goal percentage, much better place kicker overall, which is a big deal when it comes to winning football games. You know, when you have that ability to kick 3 points consistently, you're going to win a lot more football games. And it's because of all those areas that the Panthers are just favored. They have the better offense when it comes to putting points on the board. The Panthers have the better defense when it comes to preventing points, and then special teams wise, they also have the ability to hit those field goals, etc., which also factor into winning games as well. So again, from a macro perspective, from a major kind of take a step back and look at the forest perspective, the Panthers are just heavily favored in this game. Now, when you get to some other sort of matchups, so now we're getting into some offensive split data, basically looking at various downs and distances. When you look at this particular area between the Panthers offense and the Packers defense when it comes to completion percentage, the Panthers are favored on first and third down when it comes to this particular area. So the Panthers, I think, will have success against this Packers defense. Then, of course, you get to the Packers offense versus the Panthers defense, where the Panthers have a major advantage on first down, and the Packers offense has a major advantage on first down, and then the Panthers defense has a other advantage on third down. So I would say it's kind of evenly matched here in terms of completion percentage in this particular area. Then, of course, we get to rushing down. So this is the Panthers rushing offense versus the Packers rushing defense. Again, this has nothing to do with yardage or explosive plays. This just has to do with the ability that if it's 1st and 10, for example, if you get first downs with the run in those scenarios more often, you're going to have a higher score. That's what this has to deal with, is the efficiency of the running game. Do you get first downs with the run in these various downs and distances? And in this particular area, the Panthers are favored on second and third down, whereas the Packers have sort of an advantage on first down only. So the Panthers will have the advantage rushing the football in the downs that kind of matter the most, especially like third down, for example, So they have the better sort of advantage in those kind of crucial situations where they have to move the sticks. They do pretty well. And then, of course, we get to the Packers offense versus the Panthers defense when it comes to rushing downs. And in this particular area, the Packers are favored on first and third down. Kind of slightly favored, but still favored nonetheless. But this is definitely going to be a big matchup to kind of see what happens, because the Packers offense has been kind of wishy-washy ever since Aaron Rodgers got injured, of course. And then, of course, we get to passing down. So this is the Panthers passing offense versus the Packers passing defense. In this particular area, the Panthers are favored on first, second, and third down. So again, all those downs and distances, I think, pretty heavily help the Panthers out here. And then, of course, you get to the Packers offense versus the Panthers defense, where the Panthers are favored on first and second down. So definitely areas where I think the Panthers defense is going to show up is those particular downs and distances. Now, when you get to sack rate, between the Panthers offense and the Packers defense, this is where things get a little bit more interesting. The Packers defense is favored on first down, for example. Second down more so goes to the Panthers, and third down is more of a toss-up. So I would say this is actually a little bit more evenly matched, but I will say that both these teams are a little bit wonky, especially the Packers defense is a little bit wonky when it comes to their ability to sack the quarterback. Then, of course, we get to sack rate for the Packers offense versus the Panthers defense, where the Panthers are favored on first, second, and third down in terms of all those downs and distances. Then, of course, we get to interception ratio between the Panthers offense and the Packers defense, where the Panthers are favored on first and second down. And then finally, we get to the Packers offense versus the Panthers defense, where the Packers are favored on first and third down. Well, second and third down, when it comes to this particular area. So definitely some chance of picks happening, but not the most likely outcome with this Panthers defense. Again, the Panthers defense does not really turn the football over a lot or get interceptions a ton. That isn't really their game. So I wouldn't expect that many picks in this game because of that factor. So overall, what are my general impressions of this game? I think it's a Panthers victory. I think when you look at the offense, you look at the defense, you look at the special teams, you just look at all the factors as a whole, and you just see a Panthers victory. I think the Panthers have just been more successful. The Packers defense has been just really below average this year. And of course, the Packers offense has had to cope with a ton of injuries. So ultimately, I just think this is a Panthers victory. Let me know in the comment section below, though, who do you believe is going to win this particular football game? And of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know. Hit that notification button to always be reminded about another video that's coming out. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.